but it's all through hard work. Very simple. Just stay honest, work hard, and don't lie, don't bullshit, because sooner or later catch up with you.
You come from a farming, a peasant family in Italy.
Yeah.
Tell us about that life, because it's straight after World War II. As a
Yes.
little 9-year-old, a young boy, what was life like in...
I was born in 45 when the Germans retreated back to Germany, all right? We were 7 brothers, my mother and my father just a farmer. So not much money, and you owe money in the grocery shop, and you pay, little bit by little bit. And I was a barber in Italy when I was 18. I had my own shop, and that's what gave me the power. I say, I've waited here for somebody to come and have a haircut for $20, and I see these builders with Ferraris and, sports cars. I said to myself, I'm in the wrong business. I want to be a builder, and I want to be the best. That's how I started in Papua New Guinea. I had that goal in my head. I wanted to be the best. I arrived in 1967, and my first job, it was stage 1 of the Papua New Guinea Mosby University. Where the kitchen is, the first stage. That was my first job. I was a tiler, bricklayer, marble layer. But then I worked for Ebo, I worked for Fletcher's, I worked for Angelo Cresceri Columbia Blocks next to Monia. And I was working for him line blocks because he was making blocks. And he went to Italy, and he had the Spanish foreman, and he had no work. So a month, no work, I have to survive. So somebody asked me to go and lay some blocks. So I said, okay, let's go. So I went. That was the old TGA in Gordon there. Then another guy asked me in Ohola to build some units. And I started like that. And then, I said, bugger, this guy didn't give a damn about me, so I'll start my own. And from there on started L&A Bricklayers. My first little tiny shop, because there was no tiles in this country. I started with the old squash club in Morocco. I had one first shop next to P&G Motors there, and I started selling mosaics and headstone, and not much, just beginning of very small, because I only arrived, I didn't have much money. And I started building flats of my own. First house I built, it was in front of Gordon High School. It was a driveway straight up the hill. And I was in partnership with other guys. And these other guys that just wanted to drink and party every night. And I wanted to start my business. And I said, let's sell the house, I'll go on my own, you guys do what you want. So from there on, I started building units for myself. I was working hard, making money, and I started building units because the return, it was 33%. So in 3 years you pay for with the rent. It was magic. And by 1974, I had 12 apartments I owned. I fixed the pineapple, built NID, Mirigini House, Prime Minister's House, University, P&G, the School of Business, Library, and Lecture Theater. I did so many jobs, The biggest job, it was the Reserve Bank in Lai. That was most difficult, sophisticated job. Yeah. So I achieved my goal. See, you have to have a goal in your head and you follow it. You don't give up and you will reach the top. That was my goal, and I'm happy that I achieved that. Let's stay honest, work hard, and don't lie, don't bullshit, because sooner or later catch up with you. Doesn't matter where you go, whether it's black or white, you find honest people and crooks. I had Italians here that trying to bullshit me. No. I take a person the way I don't look the color. I take a person from here. That's it. That's a simple answer.